My favorite guy, Butch.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Butch.
I've always thought you had great taste.
Thank you. Underappreciated.
Right?
Yeah, right?
What has that been like to kind of come in and to see where Butch started and what that role was, and to be able to grow it as much as he's been able to do it?
It's been great. And I said to somebody earlier today, I'm the only one that's not surprised by that, only because I took Bruno Heller at his word when he said early on, he's like, look, this Butch character is going to take time and he's going to grow, and people are going to underestimate him until it's too late, and there's going to be a life here. You're just going to have to trust me, because I moved my family from Los Angeles to New York for this job. So it was, if I would have just been going on what I'm reading early on, I would have been like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. But he was true to his word, and it's been a blast to create this, and it's been fun because I've kind of known, particularly at the beginning, I knew what was coming, but I didn't. Fans didn't. So they, they're like, who this henchman, and then to see them slowly come, like I'd see these tweets and like, I don't know if it's weird, but I'm really starting to like Butch. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Butch is one of my favorite characters. Like each one of those was like a fist pump for me. I'm like, yes,
Are we going to see, Butch is my dark horse. So are we going to see you? Are we going to see you on the top by the end of the season?
Well, here's the thing. Butch had a moment at top, in season 2, and he didn't like it. I think the whole point of Butch is he's a survivor. He grew up in Gotham. He knows the nooks and crannies. He knows all the buttons to push. He knows the dark corners, and he knows enough to know that if you're, on top, there's a much greater chance that you're going to get knocked down. So, and I think that's one of the cool things about he and Tabitha and their bond is that she's kind of the same way. She always worked better as an offsider, as a second in command, because then she can kind of work in the shadows and creep, and so that connection between the two of them I thought was really neat, and a great job on the writer's part. So what I hope to see moving forward is to find out that backstory, like who is Butch really, like who is this guy, where does he come from, what's his story? He's got this random nephew, Sonny, but what's he really about? So I'm hopeful that'll be the case going forward.
Who does he sort of bet on moving forward in the power play for the underworld that's coming up? Like, who's he aligned with?
Yeah,
he shifts a lot.
That's always a good. Whoever he's with is probably going to win. That's been the case of late until they don't. I think the back half of this season is all about Butch and Tabitha. For Butch, it's about Tabitha. He's head over heels in love with this girl, for better or for worse, and he's trying to convince her that Barbara's no good for her, and Barbara doesn't care about her, and that Barbara doesn't deserve her loyalty, and so it'll be this kind of this evolution to him trying to explain that to her, and hopefully for her sake she figures it out before it's too late.
So you lost a hand this season. Are you going to use anything else?
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm hopeful that we can keep all the other limbs intact. And I thought it was, Danny said earlier, it's like Tabitha gets her hand chopped off. It's back on then the next episode. I'm like, I don't know how she got so lucky. Meanwhile, I got to strap on the silicone glove every day. But having said that, secretly, for me, I love it because it's another element of the comic book character, and why I think Butch would be a great fit for the comics. I think he would be a great addition to any of the parts of the canon because he's written from that. There is this element of him. I was saying to somebody else, like, how is there not a Butch doll? I mean, he's got the hand, he's got the scar, he's got the suits, he's got the guns. Like, how is there not a freaking Funko with a bazooka? I don't get it. I do not get it. They're missing the boat. So hopefully it'll come.
I'm sure I know the answer to this, but would you classify Butch's character as a bad guy, anti-hero, and you already said he's a survivor, but on that scale?
When I was prepping for the role, I watched a lot of particularly early Sopranos and watched Gandolfini's performance, because one of the things I loved about his performance was how he made you care about this despicable gangster. And so that was kind of the attitude I had going in. Anti-hero is definitely the right way to look at it. And I had somebody come through the line, a couple people come through the line today and say, Butch does all this bad stuff, but I still love it. To me, that's like, okay, I'm doing my job if that's how they feel. Yeah.
And then
When we did hear that Fish is on her way back,
Yes.
is she always going to be Butch's first love, or is there a little bit of a triangle when Tabitha comes around? I can see Fish getting jealous.
Yeah. It's funny. There's a scene that we shot that we're all in, and unfortunately, there's not enough time to kind of dive into that. I really wish there was, because when she came back the first time, there's, other than when he ran away, when the ghost fish showed up, there's really no interaction between the two of them, and I feel like there's closure that's needed, and so we try to address that a little bit when she comes back this time. I think the fans will appreciate it, but it's I would have liked to really get into that. But yeah, there's this particular scene that I think people will dig. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.